Episode 10, social media, cringe, content and shameless self-promotion. Hi, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Jade.
And this is Really Fucking Trying,
A podcast where we talk about the ins and outs and ups and downs of running a small business and being creative.
Today's episode is all about social media. We're going to talk about self-promotion, creating content and the dreaded algorithm. And we're joined by the wonderful Laura from Sun and Sky Designs.
Woo!
Hello.
So, Laura, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about your business, how you got started and what you sell.
So my name is Laura. I run Sun and Sky Designs, which is a polymer clay jewellery brand. And I'm a COVID business, so I started in lockdown because I'm a teacher full-time during the day. And despite what the government would make you think, we were actually teaching full-time as well. So we were teaching 8 hours a day. So I thought I need something that I can do that's away from the screen. So I started doing this and I thought it would only be temporary, and now we're 5 years old in July.
Wow.
Which is so exciting.
So what made you kind of make that decision during COVID?
I think because I wasn't going out of the house and seeing anybody, the rules were so restrictive. My husband's freelance as well, so the workload was sort of on me. He got quite a lot of work cancelled because he's a filmmaker. I felt a lot of pressure. So I needed something for my mental health. Like, my mental health was just not great. So I thought, I'll start doing this, and then it can be something that can take my mind off all of the stress and the worry. And then I trundled along until October, and then I went viral on Etsy, and I was selling like 100, 200 pairs of earrings a week. And then I started getting really overwhelmed by it, and it wasn't fun anymore. So I had to pull back a little bit. And now I'm in a really good place. So it is actually for my mental health now, rather than being something that I feel like I have to do.
So had you kind of dabbled in that at all before COVID?
No, I saw it on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
I saw someone making earrings on TikTok, and because I'm a photographer by trade, so all of my stuff is digital, and I used to paint a little bit when I was at college, but nothing, I wasn't very good. So I'd never done anything like this, but I saw someone on TikTok do it, and I thought, how hard could it be? And the answer was pretty hard. And back when I started, there was no one showing you how to do it, if that makes sense. Like, there was a few videos on like the 5-minute crafts, and the stuff they were doing was just basic, but there was no one out there who was like, look at how I do it, or don't use this clay, or these are where you can buy cutters from. So I had to find all of it out by myself. But it was really fun. It was something that I could do that actually proved that I was good at art, because I am sort of art, photography, film teacher. Sometimes a lot of people say, oh, well, the reason you're teaching is because you didn't do very well at doing the art thing. So now at least I can prove that I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Why do people shit on teachers in that way, though? I've heard it before as
people
well.
always say, like, if you can't do, teach, don't they? But
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
No, it's bonkers. And I think, the way teachers get treated is not great. I mean, I'm quite fortunate because I work in FE, so the pressure isn't as much as primary and secondary. So there is that, but you need to also have that higher level of understanding. I feel like when I used to teach secondary, I could bullshit a lot and get away with stuff. But now at college, the kids start to question you, and you're like, oh God, I actually do need to know what I'm talking about.
Leave me alone.
It's so impressive, though, how you fit it all in. I've always thought that before about you. Like, I don't get how, I mean, I've got a part-time job, but even I struggle, and that's 21 hours a week, and I feel like I'm on the verge of a nervous meltdown most days.
Every day.
Yeah. And you, the same, really, aren't you? And you don't even have a part-time job. Like, it just baffles me. But anyway, go you.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how you do it. That's incredible.
I think I've got undiagnosed ADHD, to be honest.
Oh.
Haven't we all?
I think that's where it stems from, but I'm fine with it. I'm happy to have it.
No, but like, honestly, and this is me being a right creep, yours are like the most flawless earrings I've ever seen in my life.
So, as far as I'm aware, please correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've met before.
No, but I've sort of stalked you on Instagram for a while.
Oh.
So I am a creep.
It's like a nice circle, isn't it? I'm creeping on Laura, Laura's creeping on you. Who are you going to creep on, Jade?
Not sure yet. But Ellie talks about you, I would say, at least once a day.
But when we were getting the podcast sorted, we put together a wish list, didn't we? And we had like a list of names, and I was like, we need to get Sun and Sky on, because I am genuinely a fan. I love those earrings. But I don't get, how did you get so good at that?
Do you know what? I still don't see myself as good. I mean, I know that, how can I word it? Like, I know that I'm good at what I do, but I don't consider myself to be amazing. You know, I sometimes sell earrings that I'm super critical of, but I think it is genuinely just practice. and having time to practice. Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that one.
The worst question to answer as well, and I know that I've had it myself and gone, I don't fucking know, so I don't know why I'm asking it to somebody else.
Put her on the spot. So do you think, had COVID not happened, do you think you ever would have done this?
I don't think so. So I think when people say like COVID, because COVID was a really horrible time.
Yeah.
And it was horrible for so many people and so much stuff happened, but I am so thankful for it. Because it gave me so many opportunities to do things that I never would have done otherwise. Like I never had the confidence to have a business because I'm not, even though I'm a teacher, it sounds absolutely baffling, but I'm not actually very confident at all. I've become confident through the business rather than through teaching. Like all of my school reports were like, lovely student, but could do with more confidence. And teaching didn't change that, but having to have something that was mine, do you know, like it's all mine.
Yeah, I'm quite a shy person naturally, but I think that having a business has forced me into that situation.
Yeah.
You've got to face those fears head on.
Yeah, mine's to do with people. Like if I get a nice vibe from somebody straight away, I'm confident. But if I'm not too sure of them yet, not that I don't like them instantly, but if I'm just not sure, I can become quite shy. I don't know. It's usually how much I feel like I've got in common with somebody as well, which is why I find traders dead easy to talk to.
Yeah.
It's that common.
Yeah. You know, I've always got something to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, me and Laura haven't met before, but you two, did you meet at market?
Yes, I think.
I'm thinking now it had to have been Warrington, which I don't trade at anymore, but it was a lovely market.
I think I would have just been doing my rounds and then thought, oh, earrings, yes, please. But yeah, it definitely would have been Young Traders that we met at.
Yeah, the Young Traders was really good because it was free, so it didn't really matter if you did shit because it didn't cost you anything. And I met some great people, and then I ended up winning in Wales last year, in North Wales, which is funny because I'm not Welsh.
Wow.
So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually incredible. That's so
Smash
good.
North Wales and you're not even Welsh.
Well done, you.
That's an achievement.
Yeah, so social media. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. I like that you can just make something, put it out there, and then it's there.
I was asked about it at first, not so much anymore. I don't even look at likes. I know that's awful, but it's nice when a post does well, I suppose. But
Yeah, it's a little dopamine hit.
yeah, it is. It's nice when a post does well, but I'm just not. If I'm posting on social media, it's usually these days to tick a fucking box to go, oh, well, that's done. I've shown everybody that I'm still alive.
Yeah.
That's it, really. That's all it is. Or I've promoted the market I'm going to be at. You know what I mean? It feels a bit like a task for me, which is a shame because the actual community itself, like
It's
Instagram,
lovely, isn't it?
it's lovely. But I'd much rather get a nice message from somebody than I would 20 likes on the post.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think a lot of people think of it as like, oh, they've got loads of followers, so they must be doing great. But it's not necessarily about that. Like, it's more important to have like real connections, isn't it, with people and have the people that are actually interacting. Like, I've got, I don't even know, 14,000 followers, but I still post and get like 100 likes max.
Yeah.
That's a really good post.
Yeah, I've heard other people say that as well with larger followings that have said, yeah, you know, the follower count is great, but I still only get such and such likes on a post. And you don't realise it's so much more about, I think the longer you're at it, the more you realise it's about engagement than it is numbers. It's actually not about numbers at all.
No.
But for me, and the reason I struggle with it is because I don't have any sort of personal social media at all.
Right.
Don't have a personal Instagram. I'm just not interested at all. So I don't know if that's why I find it harder.
Yeah, I imagine that makes it really difficult because you're not already used to that.
So Laura, you're the same as Jade though, aren't you? You've got quite a big following. I could have made that up off the top of my head, have you?
Yeah, I've got maybe 13,000 followers, just maybe a little bit more than that. And it's all come through the time when Reels was really popular. I think my first Reel that ever went, what I would say is like viral, and I do air quotes because I know it's audio, but was such a shitty reel of me cutting out some shapes in clay, and it got 2 million views on it. And I think with it came about 5,000 followers, which was mental because I thought, I don't know why you're following me, because on that video I was just cutting shapes out of clay. Like, it wasn't even interesting. It didn't show any talent, whereas I can make a reel where I'm actually like hand sculpting 3D flowers and it'll get like 1,000 views on it, and my dad will like
it's weird, isn't it?
And that's it.
They say that though, don't you? Don't they say it's the one just that you put the least effort into? But
it's weird, isn't it?
It's like there's some weird sort of hack to it that we're all trying to crack, and I'm not even convinced there is one. To be honest, I think it could just be luck of the draw. Yeah.
Does the algorithm even exist?
I don't. Yeah.
Well, if there is an algorithm, they don't want us to know it because we'd all just stop using it.
Yeah.
The whole point of having this big secret secret algorithm is that people post so regularly or not regularly that the whole reason it's been kept alive is because of this big secret algorithm. So they'll never tell us, even if there is or isn't one.
No, because
crazy when you think.
Boycott, wouldn't we?
Yeah. But I mean, I know now from doing this page with you, the Really Fucking Trying page, what I've noticed already on Instagram is that we get a lot of people on our page that we don't follow, or at least I don't. I don't know if you do, Jade. But forget captions, forget this. There's 3 easy tricks to making a reel go viral. Message in the comments such a word if you want more tips. And I think, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, we get messages like that all the time, don't we?
I know they've got to make a living and maybe they have got something to offer, but I just feel like there's so many of them. And it's just another spanner in the works for me.
And none of them feel legit.
No, they don't.
It all feels like it's coming from a robot.
And I totally respect that they're trying to start a business, but all these hints and hacks and I've got it sorted, I can gain you this many followers in such and such a week. You know, every time I see them, I just think, oh, do one.
But going back to what you were saying before, I don't really think it matters how many followers you've got. I've got like 13,000, but are all of those invested in what I'm doing?
Exactly.
Probably not. And do all of them buy earrings? Absolutely not. You know, a lot of the followers that I get, I would much rather get followers from when I go to markets of genuine customers rather than people who just want to know how I make stuff so they can do it themselves. But the reason I put so many making videos out there is because there was absolutely nothing like that when I started. So the reason I put those reels out is to help other people, but that doesn't help my business.
Yeah, if you're teaching them how to do it, why do they buy from you?
Yeah.
But you are really, really good at it, so maybe.
Yeah, I think sometimes some makers have bought things from me in the past, but a lot of the time when I post those videos, I gain followers, and it's just about community rather than making money, which is not good business advice from me.
Well, just so you know, Laura, I've watched your reels and I've never once in my life watched one of your videos and thought I could do that ever.
I think even if you can't, like, obviously there will be a lot of people that watch them and can't take anything away from that. It's obviously, like, they won't be able to, like, you would think, I won't be able to do that. So I think that it is still beneficial to your business because there is still that category of people that are still going to buy earrings because they can't do it. Even as someone that couldn't do it, like, I love watching videos of things that I couldn't do. Like, it's relaxing, it's interesting. So even though I would never ever do it, I still enjoy that kind of content.
Yeah, and they're the ones that get the highest views and engagement. I think I was looking this morning in sort of like prep for what I was going to say, but the maybe the last 20 reels that I've done, I reckon half of them have been me making stuff, and they're the ones that have got the most views. And then ones as well, what people seem to love because everyone's nosy and I do it, is how much money people make or how much people sell. And I used to do the money ones and now I don't, but I did one a couple of weeks ago with how much I sold in a weekend and people loved that. But I hate the fact that people might think I'm bragging, but I would post it if I had a shit weekend. If I went to a market and I made 50 quid, I'd still post about it. I did once and that went viral because people were like, oh, people love misery as well. Yeah,
they do. I posted one just before New Year of how much I'd made that year and how much I'd spent that year.
I saw that one.
And that got like the best amount of engagement that I'd had in ages. And I thought, if my other post got this much engagement, maybe I would have made more money.
For me personally, I won't do the money ones purely because half the time I don't know myself. My dad's in charge of accounts. I've got a rough idea.
Maybe your dad should do your social media.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I don't do the money ones, but I will. If I've had a shit market, I'll do like a shit sandwich.
Yeah.
So I'll post about it. I'll go, sales weren't great, but I met some lovely people. You know, it was something else, you know, where the weather was nice. It was a nice day. Because to be honest, most shit markets I still enjoy.
Yeah.
I just like being
I imagine
there.
you do. You just like getting out the house.
I just like getting out the house, yeah. But the thought of going on to social media after a really shit market and going, oh, thanks to loads of people who came and bought something today when it's complete bollocks.
Yeah.
I could not. No.
See, I try and be really, really transparent on social media because I think so much of it is like a fake reality, isn't it? It's like, it's the best bits of everyone's lives. And I think I don't want to see that all the time. Like, I don't want to see you doing shit, but it's nice to see a bit of like, oh, they've been through that, or not everyone's doing amazingly. And because you get down on yourself and you think like, oh, everyone is doing amazingly, it must just be me that's had a shit weekend. Or
I need to be human.
Do you know what I mean?
Social media, like I need people to see that. I know people say like, I don't know how you do it, I don't know how you teach and do the business and do the photography, and I actually don't know. I don't know. There's something like clinically wrong with me to be able to do it all. But that's why I have to show when orders go out late or when I've had a market I had a reel that I filmed. I did Ancoats Makers Market in like September, October, and they put me in like a tiny gazebo. It was like one of them really small ones where the table just fits at the front. You have to force it in, and it chucked it down, and I reckon 100 pairs of earrings got soaked. And I did this whole video, and I was in the car on the way home. I was crying. I will not film myself crying like some people do because I'm such an ugly crier. But I did post when I got home, and I was like taking all the earrings off these like piss wet through soggy cards, and my husband was like wiping everything down, and people loved it. They were like, oh, I've had this, but people could relate to it because it's happened to most people at some point. And I made like 80 quid all day. I came home and did 2 hours of taking earrings off cards, and then I had to pay my sister who works for me part-time to recard them. So I might as well not have bothered, but now I laugh about it because I think it's so funny.
You've got to laugh, haven't you? Yeah. And I find that as well because I've had a disaster at a market, and I can't imagine who was next door to me to see that happen when my table tipped backwards and the hotel room key wouldn't work.
Oh no.
So I got locked out my hotel room about 8 times in the space of 12 hours the night before. Weather was fucking shite all day. And to be honest, hardly made anything that first day. I've made more staying locally than I made that first day at Stratford, and it was a little bit like, but I posted about it on social media, and I still had a great weekend despite everything. I really enjoyed it, and the second I came back to Runcorn, I was like, I'd go back and do that again in a heartbeat. Not without the storm and the table flipping and the hotel room key not working. Oh, and the bathroom like going to shit on the second day as well, so I had to do my makeup in the hallway. But I posted about it, and it got a lot of likes again, and I think it was just because I'd been honest. I think if I'd just done a post going, oh, amazing weekend, it wouldn't have got nearly as much
it's weird,
attention than had I gone, well, actually, it was great, but this also. Still traumatised, but still.
I was still traumatised after that weekend because someone nearly wrote off my car on the motorway on the way down. Some like, remember telling me about that guy who had like complete road rage, and then the guy was shouting at me when I got to the market because I'd parked my car in a place he told me to, and then was screaming at me to move it.
He was a joke.
Oh my god.
He shouted like there was somebody under that fucking car.
Oh god.
He really did go for it to the point where everybody went, and I'd say there was hundreds of people on that road, wouldn't you, when we were setting up, and everyone heard him.
Oh my god.
But literally everybody was having a little their own little disaster on our road, so it was quite comforting.
I'm glad
really.
You were together.
Yeah.
I look back on that weekend with such like fond memories because
do ya? One of us should.
Even though it was such a like challenging weekend, I sometimes sit at markets that go easy and I just think, do you remember that time at Stratford where I got shouted at? Or do you remember that time at Ancoats where all my stuff got piss wet through? And then I just feel a bit more grateful.
Yeah. No, I get you though. You think you need almost the odd disaster one just to keep you on your toes.
It makes you really appreciate the easy ones, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But just needed to rant about that one. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. You feel better? You got it off your chest?
I've got it off your chest now. Should we go into choosing the right platform?
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, right.
So obviously, no, it's okay. I am on Facebook, but I don't really do anything with it. Like I post on Instagram and send it to Facebook through that. I am on TikTok, but that makes me feel sick. So I don't really. I post on TikTok, but I don't engage with it because I just feel like I'm too old to be there.
Yeah, you
Do
are.
You know what I mean? I am. I am.
If I'm too old to be there, you definitely
No, I
are.
am.
Laura's going to tell us that she's fucking smashing TikTok now. Go on.
Go on.
I'm on TikTok, but I don't use it because I don't know how. I don't understand it.
Okay.
And I think I'm in
better.
quite a fortunate position with being a teacher. I obviously teach kids who are the sort of 16 to 19, so they get it. And sometimes they'll sit me down and they'll be like, listen, Laura, you're too old. You don't get it. No one thinks it's... And they'll tell me stuff about TikTok. And the way it works with Instagram is so different because the target audience is so different and the stuff that they want to see is so different. I started doing it a bit last year and I can't even remember how many followers. I got like a few by posting videos, but I just downloaded them off Instagram, put them onto TikTok and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm too old. Which is sad, but...
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just not our audience in general for like makers.
Maybe.
In my head, sort of Instagram does sort of cater more towards, or used to, for artists and makers, whereas TikTok is there for the influencers. That's the way I see it. But I don't know if that's right or that's something that I've just made up in my head. But
I feel like TikTok is more like the content creation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously we are creating content, but not in the same way.
Yeah, it's not.
Do you know what I
I
mean?
wonder if it would. I'm sure there are people.
I don't know.
on
Maybe
there
we
that-
just don't get it.
Yeah, I think maybe that. Maybe I just need to stop
Maybe-
looking for excuses for
Maybe
myself.
there are artists on there that are doing really fucking well, but they're younger than us.
Yeah. Good luck to them as well.
I find TikTok drains so much more of your time. So on Instagram, I can, like, usually I do all of my making on a Sunday. So I did loads of stuff this morning, filmed like 3 reels of me making stuff. And I can just go on Instagram and post it at any point during the week that I want to. Because I think TikTok relies on constant engagement of running lives and doing videos every day and carousels of photos and engaging with people, and I don't have that time.
Yeah.
You know, I know I do spend a lot of time on social media and posting things, but really I go on, comment on a few of my friends' posts, message a few of my friends back, post a couple of stories of my cat, and then I'm off again. I need to go and do something else. I think if you've got the time, TikTok can work really well for you, but I just don't have the time.
No.
And it's too much to manage in my brain.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like I do the business full time, so technically I should have the time to do TikTok and Instagram, and do you know what I mean? But I just can't bring myself to do it. It's never a priority in my head for TikTok. Because I just feel like Instagram, I've already got friends on there and I know my followers and I know what they want to see and I know what they're going to like, and I know that I'll go on and have a comment from X, Y and Z or a message from this person or that person. Whereas TikTok, I'm like nervous to open the app. So the problem I find, like, you can sit and scroll through Instagram and feel safe. I think that's a problem for me.
Yeah, true.
Like often I'll just be on my phone and Kyle will be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm working." And he's like, "Oh yeah." Or are you watching them like somebody clean their kitchen or like them squashing cheeses and
What?
have you not seen them videos where they squash all different things
Oh,
with the
the
machine?
hydraulic press thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
absolutely love them. I'll show you later.
Okay.
I absolutely love them. I'm
Mine's
obsessed.
cake decorating videos.
Oh, that's quite wholesome.
And women with babies for some reason, because even though I try not to engage because I don't want kids, I think it knows that I'm a woman approaching 30.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah, I get those as well. Yeah, and I'm like, ooh.
I say approaching 30.
You're not far off.
I know. You weren't supposed to say that, Jade.
We were doing like some future podcast planning the other day, and I was like, I've planned up to like the next 2 years, like dreaming big. And Ali was like, "Oh God, I think by the time we get to that, I'll be 30."
I think our latest episode plan goes up to September 2027, which will be my 30th. And that'll be the episode alone. It'll just be an all about me episode.
Right, I can't wait. I'm excited for that.
But yeah, for me, I think I'm just going to stick with Instagram and hope that that doesn't go to complete shit. But it also scares me how much I rely on Instagram as well.
I always think, if Instagram went down, would I have to just close the business?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But I think the same. I always just think, God, if that went, I'd have to look for a completely new platform. I think because Facebook wouldn't hit the mark for me. I don't think at all. We'd have to do TikTok.
It's all owned by the same people, isn't it? It's all Meta.
Yeah.
So you think if one's going to go, they're
It's
all
weird,
going to go.
isn't
Is it like Instagram, Facebook, Threads? They're all Meta. Is anything else Meta?
It's weird, isn't it?
X is just Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I don't go on X.
What would we actually do though? No, I don't.
Well, it does make me wonder, like, I mean, should we be looking for something new as well? Because I know that we talked about this at the studio, about looking for new platforms, because at the moment it's just, I feel like I'm supporting the bad guys in a way. Do you know what I mean, though? I'm just a little business trying to promote my drawings, but I do feel like, oh God, I wish this wasn't owned by such arseholes.
Yeah. But what do we do?
I know,
start our
there's
own.
nothing
I
we
don't know
can
how.
do, no. But I did want to put a bit on there about Twitter and X. I mean, does anybody still use that at all?
I think I still have an account, but I wouldn't even know how to get into it.
I'm just really scared of it. For no reason in particular. So when I'm not doing the teaching thing and I'm not doing the earring thing, I'm a football photographer, and I find that my pictures only get posted on there because the football community is like big on X. But I will literally log on, post, log off. Like, I don't want to see who's liked it. I'm not interested. I just share it because I feel like people like to see pictures of football, and then I leave again. I don't engage with anybody because there's no censor on there, is there? You can see anything on there.
No, and I feel like the Twitter X TikTok's crowd are just a bit feral.
They are actually, because I logged in recently because I've still got my Ellie Francesca, because I did used to use Twitter, not often, but I did use it for business. I had a business page on there. Right. I've taken it off all my business cards now because I don't think it looks too good, does it, to still be on there. But oh my God, they are such a hateful lot. It's unreal. And they're not people I follow either. Yeah. It's just like I'm seeing all the tweets from...
And the only time actually I go on there is to search, is Instagram down? If Instagram's down.
Yeah.
Because I've got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, fair enough.
I love that.
I'm going to like middle-aged territory now because last night I was Googling if Outlook was down, and it was.
Oh.
But as I sat there and searched it, I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm so old to actually care that it's gone down.
See, I wouldn't have even noticed.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't. I find Threads quite easy though. I don't know how good it is for engagement, but I've noticed that if I post on Instagram now, it's automatically on my Threads, and I get likes through the Threads, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I'd joined this, but this is a nice bonus. Yeah, just get Threads. I don't know what it does or what it's for, but just do it. It's easy.
I need more info than that.
I'll show you. I think you just have to literally press a button on your Instagram account to set up a Threads account, and it just sort of does it. Yeah, of course I will.
Thanks, Mum.
I think it's like a friendly X, isn't it? Because you can post text on there with no pictures. So if you just want to have a little rant or just a sentence, you don't have to post any content with it. You can just have text on there.
Okay, that feels like chill.
From what I've seen from it, I don't go on it much, but from what I have seen from it, it seems like a PG, wholesome version of what Twitter what Twitter is now, X, whatever.
I might be interested. You've sold it to me.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people as well, so you will automatically, I think, see the people that you follow on Instagram as well. So it's basically just Instagram, but on a different platform.
Well, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, also a little bit pointless, but...
Yeah, but isn't everything?
Yeah.
Isn't life?
Yeah.
Wow.
Where do you work from, Laura? From home?
For my clay stuff, I have like a room in my house.
Okay, so I also work from home, but I work basically in my bedroom. So it's me and my partner and my dog all share this one room that's also my workspace.
Wow.
Which is not ideal. But I always struggle with that because I'm like, people want to see me like making things and drawing and stuff, but I haven't got like a pleasing place to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I think I'm very lucky to have a space like this, and it's taken 5 years of working and then spending the money to have something that works. Yeah. I know in my head that if I don't have a place for everything, then everything will just go to shit. Yeah. So that's why I have something like this. But like the small part of my desk that I use to do videos, which is like the size of my laptop, I know then everything else can just be a complete mess. Yeah. Yeah. And people want to see how I do like my resin and my sanding, but none of it is pretty because I sit outside on my driveway with my garage door open because we've got it split, and I wear a massive respirator because I'm allergic to dust and resin's toxic anyway. And I'm like, you don't want to see that. Yeah. You just don't want to see it.
I do.
It's just not very pretty. But it is so difficult because social media is all about aesthetic from everything, and they want to see, people now from reels that I posted around Christmas where I like gutted my workspace and got rid of loads of stuff and tidied up. I get messages now off strangers who've seen it and they're like, have you seen this new organisation box at Aldi? I think you'd really love it. So now I've got a reputation for being organised, which is really difficult to live up to when you're nowhere near organised.
She says with the beautiful Catherine behind her.
No.
But if you look on the desks, it's not great. I've literally got mounds of clay on the left of me outside of view of my laptop that I've not put away. And they're not even in packets, it's just clay. Clay on clay.
No, but for me as well, working in the studio, I share a room, so it probably is quite a small space, really. Yeah. But it's a shithole half the time. Do you know what I mean? And I should really video myself tidying it, but I know what I'm like, and this is the main problem I have with filming myself doing anything. I'm in a studio where altogether there's about 25 of us, but on our side alone there's about 10 people, so it's quite a busy studio, or it can be at least. If someone talks to me while I'm filming, I will walk away from the camera for a solid 2 hours even. leave it rolling, and then all I've got on when I look back at that footage is nothing, and just me gibbering away shit in the background. And it happens, and I made a video about it once, and it did all right, because somebody had come to my door and said, see you next week, I'm going on holiday, and it was just this drawing, half finished drawing, nothing happening to it, and just me wittering away in the background, going on all sorts of tangents, ended up talking about three-wheel vans. And my phone hates it as well, because I've only got a shitty little phone. If I film for over 10 minutes, it's like, are you sure about this?
Yeah.
I've got space for this.
I don't think I can take it.
Yeah. So I do find it really, and then editing them as well, because it then takes so long as well. I'm just a nightmare, basically.
Yeah.
And I can't focus enough to film something. So what I do now, if I am filming a drawing, obviously drawings take hours and hours and hours, if not weeks sometimes. So I will film little snippets of me drawing,
like
5 seconds on the nose, 5 seconds on the eyes, seconds on the ears, whatever, and then put that together into like a minute reel, then with the final finished thing at the end. And but even that's a bit stale now, because I've been doing that for
it's hard to think of new things. No, it's hard to think of new things, isn't it?
No, it is. And that's the only thing that I can think of for drawing. But I don't know, it's hard to put yourself into the audience's brains and go, what would they want to say?
Yeah.
There's only so many ideas, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think with my stuff, with the making, I make that many different pairs of earrings in a launch, and it is relatively, to make something, it's quite a quick process. You know, I can do a time lapse and do a slab of clay and cut some shapes out in like half an hour and just time lapse it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But how many times can I have a time lapse of me cutting up some clay and smushing it together before people start getting bored?
It's that, isn't it? Because you start to think, oh, what I do is quite repetitive. Obviously, you're making earrings, I'm drawing portraits. You are, even though it's different, obviously, you're making different earrings every time I'm drawing a different person, but it does become
But you've got to
a bit
think
repetitive.
as well that that's your whole, well, not, it's not, because you've also got jobs and family and, you know, whatever, but that's your life, so people are interested in that. I think you could post it again and again and again, and I think as well, like, new people are going to see it.
That's
it's
true.
not necessarily just your followers that will see it, do you know what I mean? New people will see it that haven't seen it before, and I think keep posting it, do it again.
No, you are right, actually, because I remember somebody at the studio saying to me, why don't you just repost some of the older stuff that you've seen? And I've said, well, what's the point of that? I posted it once, why would I post it again? And she said, because your following's grown since that, and people might not have seen it. And I've never even thought of that before, but that would be an easy option, to be fair, when I'm running a bit low on.
Well, it's not even just new followers. Like, I always talk to Kyle about this, and I'm always like, oh, did you see that post we did today? And he's like, no, didn't come up on his Instagram.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Come up
like,
on mine sometimes.
It's weird, isn't it? But I could post it again in 10 days, and maybe it would.
Who makes those rules? I don't like it.
Instagram, I know.
Naughty.
It's a joke. But so you hate this about me, I'm sure, but
I'll be honest.
I use Instagram on my laptop.
I didn't even know that was a thing you could do.
I don't think it is.
It is. I'll show you later. I promise. So I do use it on my phone more, but if I feel like I think it's what generation am I?
Millennial. I
think it's a millennial thing.
Yeah.
I think when you're doing like big girl stuff, you have to do it on the computer. Like, I would never do an email on my phone.
Oh, I classify big girl stuff as like booking a flight or a holiday, but I would definitely write an email on my phone. Well, it depends. Depends how important I deem the email.
If I was like out and I knew I had to reply, I would obviously do it on my phone. But given the option to do it on my computer, I would do it on my computer.
You're the only person I've ever heard. Oh no, I tell a lie. Somebody on my college course once, but bear in mind this lady is 70, asked me about setting up an Instagram account. So I said, yeah, sure, like, I'll help you. And I think she video called me or something, and then she had a screen up on her laptop with Instagram up, and I was like, fuck that, get on your phone. What are you doing?
It's way better on
so
the
yeah,
computer.
you and a 70-year-old off my art course.
All right, I'm old.
Yeah.
All right. But I use it on the laptop, and A, it's much easier. B, the screen's bigger.
True.
And you can see, I feel like you can see more posts at the same kind of time. You can't. But because the screen's bigger, it's easier to take note of what you're scrolling past, if you know what I mean. So what I've noticed from that is it goes a post by someone you follow, a post that they think you're going to like, and then a sponsored post. And then that just repeats through your Instagram feed.
Yeah.
At least that's what it is on the podcast one. I've noticed. And I'm like, show me more from people that I follow. I'm following them for a reason.
Yeah, you're following them for a reason. Yeah, that is annoying.
There on the top left, and there's two different types of feed. One that's the algorithm formats for you, and one that is just people you follow in chronological order of when they posted. Did you know about this?
No.
I've done this before, because I remember seeing that, and I shared it it on my page as well, but I have done that. And it feels like it's only temporary. So you have to keep doing it.
You have to do it every time. Oh my God, you've changed my life.
But it will change it up for you. Oh, actually, should we talk about some? Because I find this interesting. Does anybody ever use like sponsor or boost your post?
I've never used it. I don't want to pay for the right to social media, which sounds awful.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't see if there's going to be a benefit from it. I'd rather just take my chances with something. I mean, I'm saying that as somebody who doesn't completely rely on the income from the business to having a full-time job sort of helps with that. I don't know if I would look at it differently if I relied on my business to feed my family and my cat.
Yeah.
I might look at it a bit different like that.
Yeah.
But I've never paid for Etsy ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, none of it.
I've never done Etsy, but I have done Instagram. But see, the thing is, we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? Because we were considering doing it for the podcast. And we had very different opinions. So you've done it before and it's worked. I've done it before and it hasn't worked. But I think I've only invested, because you can choose like different tiers, can't you? Where you're like £1 for 5 days or whatever. Yeah. I've only ever done like the lowest band. Maybe if I invested a little bit more, it would work for me.
Well, it's interesting because it was summer last year, and I'd had summer last year was the best sales period I've ever had. Like I was really riding high on it, and I think I'd posted about it, and I think it was either Instagram or Facebook. It would have been Instagram. I think had said this post's doing really well. Why don't you boost it?
Okay.
And I had like a free credit thing or something. I don't know how I'd got hold of that, but I had like £5 free credit.
Okay.
So I thought, oh, go on, I'll double my money. I'll put a tenner into it. And the sales that came off that ad at the end of it, about 50 quid. But I thought, I've made that money back.
Yeah.
Just a few Etsy sales off the back of it for an ad that cost me a tenner.
Yeah.
Has bought in 50
really
quid.
Good, yeah.
So I think it was worth doing. I'm just not in any rush to do it again because at the moment I've got no fucking stock. But maybe when I have restocked, which I will soon, when I've got a full stock range, I think maybe, that is something I would push again, For me, it has been worth doing. That's not to say that I won't do it later down the line and it'll completely flop. But it's something that...
Again, I don't want to sound old again, like when we were talking about TikTok, but I also feel like Instagram's changed a lot since we started using it. Like, I don't know about you, because obviously you both are younger than me, but it was very much just images for such a long time. And then when they introduced Reels, I shit myself.
Yeah.
Me too, because a lot of my business when I first started was just photos.
Yeah.
I didn't have back then my phone wasn't that great. I'm talking back then like it was donkeys ago, it was 5 years ago, but my phone wasn't that great, and then I didn't want to have to get out the big camera to take photos, and I just wanted it to be easy. And when they started launching video content, I was like, I don't know what to do, because when you trained in film and you're a filmmaker, you always film landscape. It's natural to film in a landscape, and then all of a sudden they wanted it in portrait, and it was like a completely different language, and you would post a video and there wasn't an algorithm, so you would just get your followers who would watch it, and it'd be like 100 people, and I wasn't in the knowledge of how to edit on my phone, so it took ages to be able to get to grips with it. I feel like the people who used Reels for the first time and who got it are the people who've probably got the biggest following in terms of social media, because they were seen, because there wasn't a lot to see. You had to see all of the people who were posting them, or you wouldn't have a lot of content.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I can't really remember, because when did I join Instagram? It would have been about 2018 on my old account, so I had to join it for college and post a few bits. But I remember it was photos then, but the main thing when I joined seemed to be getting your hashtags spot on.
Yeah.
Whereas that's not so big anymore, but I struggle now to get out that mentality.
Yeah, same.
I'm still even now thinking about what hashtags I'm going to use, going through notes on my phones of one I've got saved, and it doesn't matter anymore.
Don't use hashtags at all, don't
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that the thing at the minute on Instagram apparently is carousels of photos.
Yeah.
Because people will scroll through them, and then it tricks Instagram into thinking that they're looking at your content for a long time. So I now do a weekly roundup of things that I did in the week, and actually when I posted that for the first time last Sunday, it got a couple of 100 likes, and then for the following 3 days afterwards, my story views were up like 300%, and more people were voting on polls on my stories, more people were liking old reels, and then it stopped again because I hadn't posted one. So I feel like I tricked it very temporarily into thinking that I was somebody that people wanted to engage with. And then when they realised, they were like, who is this woman? Then they just stopped it all again. But it was really nice for that 3 days because I was getting seen by so many new people and so many people who hadn't seen me for a while.
Yeah. But again, you'd have to be consistently doing that to keep it up, wouldn't you, I guess?
Maybe not even consistently, though, because I'm very inconsistent on Instagram at the moment, and I'll fully admit it. I can post 3 times in a week at Christmas, and then you don't see me till March.
Yeah.
I'm still there, though. But I remember one of the most liked posts I've ever done was just a picture of me with a caption just saying, I haven't died, I'm still here. And that was it. I've got loads of comments on it going, good to know, mate, good to know. It was literally just because I felt so lazy and I thought, oh God, are people going to think I packed it in? They're probably not giving me a second thought, but I thought I'll just post something just to let people know I'm still alive. But I think there's something to be said about posts that are a little bit clickbaity, because I still remember to this day, and I hope whoever this was does listen to this, they posted a black and white picture of themselves and then put in the caption, I am so sorry to announce, and then a huge gap underneath, and then put, I'm still here. I thought that was brilliant. I just thought that was fucking genius, because I sort of looked at it and gone, oh my God, they've not thinking they died, and I just thought, oh my God, that is marketing fucking genius. It's sick, but it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's sick.
I just can't bring myself to post stuff like that, because I find the posts that do the best for me are pictures of myself, like a good selfie, or a picture of my sister at a market, something that's got a human in it, or a cat. Like the pictures of Pixel with earrings always do amazing. Pixel's a cat, by the way, for those who don't know. And he is so cute, and people engage with him, so he was well worth bringing up as my son to have him on socials. But I sometimes don't have the energy to take a good selfie and post it. And I'm so bad for feeling cringe on like a different level, but I can't post those reels of me talking along to a track or speaking to camera. I'm glad this isn't a video podcast either, because I could not watch it and I would struggle to listen to it because I hate the sound of my own voice. I'm on that level of cringe, so I can't post reels where my face is in it, because I walk back in it and I think, who is this wanker? Who is she? She doesn't know what she's doing. So, but for people who can do that, then fair play to you, because I feel like that gets the best engagement.
No, I feel the same. Like I have posted things like that, but I'll post it and then I'll never look at it again. Like I don't want to know how many likes it's got because I can't face looking at it.
For me, it's funny how we're all different, isn't it? So I do the occasional bit of social media content for Hazelhurst Studios, and I started doing voiceover videos.
Yeah, you're really good at that.
I really enjoy it, but I would much rather hear myself talk on camera than someone go, oh, Ellie, picture of your stall, but can you get in it, please?
Yeah.
I hate that. I really do hate that. Usually because if I'm at a market, I haven't brushed my hair, I'm feral, I've got tears in my eyes because I find setups so stressful. I've had 17 cups of coffee and 15 cigarettes, and I'm just a bit, ugh. You know, I can't really, the thought of somebody taking a picture of me at that time is just a little bit like, no, thank you. But whereas hearing my voice doesn't bother me. Well, obviously not, because I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But it's weird how we're all different, because some people can have their photo taken and not think twice about it. And for me as well, in photographs, I won't smile because my teeth are massive. They take over my face. So if I'm on a photo, it's just me sort of closed mouth smile, and it looks like I'm sort of, I've got a lazy eye too, so add that into the mix.
Looks like a hostage situation, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks very... I've seen photos of me, and if my dad's taken the photo as well, God help us all, because you can just see, I've made a joke about it a few times, how you can see just from the expression on my face that I've showed him what button about 50 times.
Yeah, you
just sort of, it's just me stood next to the store grimacing, basically. It's not the vibe.
No,
I wish it was. I wish I was aesthetic, but I'm not.
For me, when like someone takes a picture of me by my stall, or they say, oh, like I did an art exhibition last year and I wanted a picture there, and I'm a photographer and my husband's a photographer, so we're on the same page. Anytime anyone else takes a picture of me, you can see the judgment in my eyes as they're taking it, because I think, I know that's going to be a good picture already, because you're not at the right angle, and I must have about like 10 chins, and they hand me my phone back and I go, oh, that's lovely, thank you so much, and I'm never going to use it because I'm just so judgmental. That is a downfall of me, though. Like, that's very much a me problem.
Yeah.
At markets, sometimes other traders are lovely and come up to you if you're on your own and go, do you want a picture behind the stall? No.
No, thank you.
Off you fuck.
Don't ever speak to me again.
Yeah, for me though, I don't mind hearing my voice at all, but seeing myself, no.
Yeah.
Big teeth, the 7 chins, the Hagrid ginger hair, like no, it's just not a vibe.
I would just love to be one of those people that doesn't feel cringe at all about anything. Like the people that can just post, like take a picture of themselves and post it.
I don't know about that. I'd love to have no self-awareness.
Maybe that's the trick.
Sorry, we went off on that for ages. So for me as well, another thing that I've noticed about social media, I used to find captions so easy because I would literally just say reel off whatever is on my brain. And I look back at old captions that I've posted and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, go for an ADHD assessment, please. I look back on them now and I do cringe, but I was literally just saying whatever was in my mind, thinking that would make me like approachable. Whereas now because of that, and I shouldn't really look at old posts. I hope nobody does.
I'm immediately going to go and look after this.
But now, because of that, I do find it a struggle because I want to be professional and I also want to get to the fucking point what the post is for. I want to start with something that's going to get people's attention as well. You've got to grab them. I think about it now much more business-like than I did previously. I think that's another reason why going forward I probably will use more voiceovers as well, because I feel like I can get to the point a bit quicker when it's just me talking, whereas when I'm typing and I'm thinking, they're not really getting me. But one thing I do hate that I am seeing the rise of, and for me personally, I can tell, and this sounds a little bit bitchy, I hate AI captions. Hate them. I feel like I can tell.
It doesn't feel natural, does
no,
it?
it doesn't at all. But it's resisting that urge as well to jump on the bandwagon.
Because I imagine it must save you so much time. It must make your life easier, mustn't it?
It does, I think, yeah, but no. I have noticed, and obviously I'm not going to name people here, but I've noticed accounts that I follow and I thought they've changed their wording suddenly. They've swallowed a fucking thesaurus all of a sudden. Like, what's going on? But I always think that's AI.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I want to see the person. I want to, not see them, but I want to hear what they have to say rather than, write me this such and such a caption that fucking chatbot or whatever it's called. Is it chatbot?
I don't know. Chat
GPT.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know. But it is resisting that urge as well, because sometimes, because like I say, I do struggle writing captions. I always think, it'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it, if I just...
But I imagine they can do everything. I can imagine it can do your content for you and probably all kinds of shit.
Will it change my bedding?
Maybe one day.
You never know.
That's the kind of shit we need. I don't want it. I don't want AI that can make art and write your caption. I want it to clean my house.
I want it to roll my ciggies for me. Yeah.
That's what I want AI to do, is I want it to do all the stuff in my life that I don't want to do, like my tax return. If AI can do my tax return, that's the sort of stuff that I need. And I don't use AI for the business, but I do use it a lot in teaching. I think because I'm undiagnosed ADHD, I sometimes type at lightning speed, but my brain hasn't quite caught up yet.
Right,
so I'm really feral for spelling errors, grammar, everything like that. And I'm meant to be professional. Like, I'm meant to be that person who girl bosses and sends professional emails at work. So I use AI, and I do use it for the small business to spell check and grammar.
That's quite a good idea.
That's the only thing that I use it for. And I feel like AI has done so much for people in terms of accessibility. It does a lot for like the visually impaired. If you put a picture in it, it'll describe it to you. You can get all sorts of apps that will help with the blind or the deaf, like all sorts of stuff. But I know what you're saying about when you read a caption sometimes, give me 5 words of it and I'll tell you it's AI. And I know it's quicker, but I don't think it's beneficial at all. I don't think it helps in the long run, because if I see someone with an AI caption, I just don't read it. I'll just scroll and
I don't switch off.
But I will use it for grammar and spelling. That helps so much for me.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I like that.
It is actually, but it's a good thing of saying, it has its uses, definitely. Not saying it should be scrapped completely. I could imagine for dyslexic people it is an absolute lifesaver. But for me personally, I just feel like every time, even just to see, like, you can do the chat GPT prompts, whatever it is. Even when I've just done it just to see, I'm like, I've asked you to write a caption, but that doesn't sound like me at all.
I think it's okay for people that kind of, like we've all said, obviously we try and be quite transparent in our businesses. We try and show a lot of personality and stuff like that. But some people don't take that approach, like big, like corporate businesses. Do you know what I mean? They're just, they're not a face, are they? They're just a business. So maybe it's beneficial for them because they haven't really got that particular voice that you're looking out for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I think for larger businesses, businesses with staff especially, it does become become more about the business itself, whereas us small business owners,
Yeah.
we are very much part of it.
Yeah.
That business is us, and we are the business
Yeah.
in a way, yeah.
I find it hard, like, obviously me and Ellie run the podcast social media together, and I find it hard because sometimes I'll write a caption and I'll be like, that sounds like me, but it doesn't sound enough like Ellie, and I want it to come from both of us.
Yeah, but
do you know
I'm
what
a
I mean?
nightmare as well because I type in my accent.
Yeah, you do.
I can tell who's written what sometimes for you guys.
Okay,
Yeah, when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, that's definitely, yeah.
I think I've been very good though at not typing in my accent and
Yeah, you
actually
have.
writing you and not YE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you have the time to suss out AI and what it can do for you, you can train it. I know some people
Yeah.
don't want to, and I completely respect how some people hate it, because I think in terms of what it's doing for art, sometimes when I see AI art
Yeah.
at markets, I get so angry because I can tell anyway, but
Yeah.
it makes me fuming, because I think I would much rather buy something off somebody that I know they've actually made than that a computer can generate in 10 seconds. It's not worth it. But I think if you've got the time to train it, you can make it sound like you.
Yeah.
That's terrifying to me, to be able to do something like that. But I think for a lot of jobs, like little mediocre jobs that I could do, if I could get it to train to do something like that, then I absolutely would use it. But I'm just not there yet with trusting it completely.
Yeah, I just feel like we're getting closer and closer to, like, you know, those films that are like, the future is,
Yeah, it's scary.
yeah,
isn't it?
like
Yeah.
iRobot kind of thing. I feel like we're getting closer and closer to that every day.
It is really scary.
No, we are.
It's spooking me. That noise means it's time for Q&A.
I'm not saying anything.
yay. So this is just a little section of the podcast where we answer a few questions from our Instagram followers. Today we've got 2 questions. The first one is from Just Heard Creative. They've asked, how do you promote your Etsy shop? What works best for you? So I've picked this question specifically for this episode because I think that you, Laura, do very well on Etsy.
I do. It's the only place, apart from stockists, I don't have a website. I just sell on Etsy, and I will have a website one day. But I've been saying that for like 3 years, but the concept of it scares me. I'm so used to Etsy that I'm too scared of change to be able to change anything. And I know that there's a lot of bad press around Etsy, but to be honest, they've always been really good to me. I mean, they don't know who I am. I'm saying that like we're best friends, but they always have been really good to me. And I think because I only sell on Etsy, all of my traffic gets driven there on like launch days, and the QR codes at my markets go to my Etsy, and I think people on a whole trust Etsy.
Yeah.
So I think that helps with getting sales on there as well.
Yeah.
I have, I think, 6 or 7 bestsellers on there at the minute. A lot of my stock is either one of a kind, so I make 5 and then you never see it ever again, or I have certain earrings that I can keep on making over and over again. So like I have like caterpillars with an apple, like some little teacher earrings.
Oh, that's cute.
I made 15 pairs this morning just because I knew that I needed to get them on there.
Yeah.
So I have that listing that's repetitive and it gets renewed over and over again. I find that because I have stuff like that, I will get bestsellers, but I don't know how they become bestsellers. That's something I've never figured out. I think something important about Etsy though is to use all of your tags in a listing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think like a bit further down you can add tags and they have to be a certain amount of letters long, but using all of them means that you come up on searches a bit better.
Oh,
That's
good
something
to
that I learned. And then there's bits about is it like SEO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that stands for.
Search engine optimization.
There we go. Look at you.
I know the word. I don't know how to do it. My SEO on Etsy is shite. I don't know how to improve it.
Well, mine's really good, but I don't know how. I don't know what I did to deserve it.
See, I even know the word and I just can't do it. I do struggle on Etsy, but I think with what I do, there is a lot of competition there as well. But I have mixed feelings on Etsy, to be honest. I've never had any problems on there. That, you know, it's always been plain sailing, but I also haven't had many sales on there. Now, I think that is partly down to me and my laziness and my hatred of laptop jobs.
Big girl jobs.
I never. If Etsy hasn't helped me, I know they've got the
100%.
seller app. Yeah, Etsy is a laptop job, exactly. You can't really go through and sort of edit your photos and stuff, and it's hard to do it on your phone. I know it's possible, but it's just hard. So for me, it's a laptop job. Laptop jobs, don't like them, no. So I know that I don't put all into it, and I know at the moment I haven't even got the full range on Etsy at all. But I would like to have a backup as well. I've said that previously. So, you know, another avenue where people can buy from me.
Like a website.
A website, I think that would be beneficial for me as well, obviously, because I do commission work and things like that, and projects through the studio as well. I feel like that probably would be more beneficial for me to have a website. But
so, and I know website isn't what they've asked about, but I'm going to be very real with you too, because you've both mentioned it now. So I have my own website where I sell. So I do still sell on Etsy. So Etsy started my business. I do still sell on Etsy, but I don't promote it anywhere. So all my Etsy customers are just from Etsy. I promote my website, and it's really, really, really hard. It's really hard to get orders on there and things because I don't know the SEO or whatever for that to get me found on Google or, you know, that kind of stuff. So all my website orders are from Instagram. But like you said, like people trust Etsy. Who am I? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
So if I'm promoting my website, the orders mainly that I get on there are people that follow me on Instagram that have met at a market, or people that have bought from me for a long time on Etsy and follow me on Instagram. Like people that would already trust me.
Etsy's one big conveyor belt of people who are window shopping.
And
then they'll see something that they like and they come in and then they see everything that you've got. It's almost like on a website you have to drive the people there yourself, but on Etsy they will do not all of the job for you, but they will bring people to you. Whether they want to buy from you or not is a different story. And they're also there as a bit of a they do help. I'm not like trying to sell Etsy or promote them or anything, but whenever I've had an experience with a customer who's not been particularly nice, and I do not get many of them, usually everyone are really lovely, but when I have that issue they always step in and sort it for me, because I'm not big on confrontation, and I'm also not very good on sticking up for myself either. So if I know that there's something that this person is actually they're wrong about it or they're being disrespectful, I'll always just like crumple. I'm like a piece of paper, I just fold in half. Whereas it's sometimes better just to have Etsy there and paying them that percentage in fees just to deal with it for you.
No, I do agree with that.
They've also got a really helpful new thing. I don't know if it's just this whole star seller thing, if you've heard of the star seller thing. I don't know if it's just for people on that or if it's for everyone, but they'll put your listings in like a at-risk category. It sounds a bit scary than it is, but it'll tell you what's wrong with that listing, why it's not doing well.
Okay.
So you're meant to have more than one photo in a listing.
Right.
I didn't know that. And you're not meant to have collages as the picture, like the main picture. So it has this page on there. I can't remember what the page is called, but it has loads of listings that haven't done well, and it tells you why and how to fix it.
Oh, that's sick.
So I did some, and then I sold bits and bobs, because a lot of my stuff is one-off anyway, so stuff can just sit there in like on Etsy jail forever and not sell. And then I've done a few where I've updated them and they've just sold. And I do wonder if that's something to do with it, which is good if you want to know why something's not working, because they kind of just tell you.
Well, that's helpful. So to actually answer it, I don't promote my Etsy shop, but I would say a lot of it is to do with the listings that you're putting on, the tags that you're using, all that kind of stuff. If I was to promote my Etsy shop, I'd do the same things that I'm doing for my website, which is posting it on Instagram, which probably isn't the best way to be doing things, but I've found that that's made me a lot of like loyal customers that will come back, customers that will leave you a review, will tell their friends about you, that kind of thing. That's what I would do personally.
Yeah, it's hard for you, isn't it? Because the Etsy isn't. For me, so Etsy at current is the only place where you can buy my prints online. From looking at my stats, which I do try and do on Etsy, especially since I can do that on the Etsy app. So I do check the stats occasionally just to see where people are buying from, and a lot of it's Google. So again, I think that's the Google business account, which seems to do quite well. From the emails that I get from them, it gets quite a lot of traction. But in terms of my actual Etsy shop, my conversion rate's good, but the actual sales slow, to say the least. Like I say, it's just not this big thing that I thought it would be. You know, I think that's more in other places. But what annoys me is I think that Instagram could make this easier for us to get sales through Etsy by just giving us clickable links.
Definitely.
Like, if Instagram were to give us clickable links in the captions, I know that I get that they want to keep you on Instagram. Like, I do completely get it.
But there's only so many times you can write link in bio.
Yes. Oh my God, the link in bio. I hate it. If Instagram did a clickable link, I honestly think I could do better there.
If you're listening to Instagram.
Who runs it these days, I'll get in touch. I'll write him an email.
I would also say to promote your Etsy or any kind of online shop, I would say be on as many different platforms as you can, even if it means you've got to join TikTok.
I wish there there's more platforms as well. That's
Yeah.
another thing. We haven't actually got that many to choose from.
No.
And Laura, for you promoting Etsy shop, is that Instagram, do you think?
Yeah, all of my stuff goes through Instagram, and I have my link in my bio, and then on my story sometimes I put a link on, do you know, so that people can click through my story to go through, and then I won't pay to get promoted on Etsy, but keeping tags up to date, posting stuff all the time, and just trying to get good reviews so that it makes you look a bit more reliable always helps.
Good advice.
Good advice.
I've learned a lot today, thank you, Laura. And the other question is from Sassy Mate.
I like this. This is a fun one.
It might not be for Laura though.
Oh yeah. Hopefully it is.
If you weren't artists, what do you think you'd be doing instead? So Laura's doing a lot of things as well.
This is true.
But if I wasn't good at being creative, I wouldn't have any of the stuff that I do. Because I teach a creative subject, I photograph football, which is creative, and then I have the creative business. So if I wasn't creative, I don't know what I would do, because I wouldn't have any of it. And I love being so busy, but when I was little, I always wanted to be a vet.
Aww.
And then I watched Animal Hospital by the disgraced Rolf Harris, and I cried. So then I realised then I couldn't be, but I love animals. I love animals. Like, yeah, I would have so many animals. I'm trying to wear my husband down on getting another cat, like really slowly. But yeah, I would have loads of animals, and I think if it wasn't for me crying all the time, I'd be a really good vet.
Yeah. Maybe you could run like a rescue centre or...
Yeah.
She does enough.
No. In another world, in another
But I love
timeline.
supporting stuff like that, because I make some cat earrings, and all of the profit of that goes to the rescue, so I'm constantly buying cat food for all of the shelters. And
oh, that's lovely.
yeah, when I used to live down south, there was a couple of cats who weren't particularly very loved, so we used to give them food and treats. And yeah, I love animals. I would love chickens as well.
Oh my god, you're so cute. I'm obsessed.
I'm big on the animals.
Get chickens, that'd be sick.
There's something about chickens, and I feel like I might be in the minority here. Do all chickens have a Scouse accent? Have you noticed it?
Yeah, they do actually.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
I
they
think
do.
all chickens are Scousers, and I love
Maybe
it.
you only know chickens from Liverpool then.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
only
will I
know
have met
Scouse
any
chickens?
non-Scouse chickens? I need to go to like Devon or somewhere and see
Yeah.
if the chickens sound
Have a different
different.
accent.
Yeah.
That'd be great. When I was little, as far as I remember, I never had that thing of like, I want to be this when I grow up. Like, I never, probably like a princess, or, do you know what I mean? Like, never.
What do you mean? That's still now.
I am still working on that.
Jade still wants to be a princess.
But I honestly think, like, if I wasn't doing this, I'd still just be, like, working in a restaurant or a bar.
Yeah, it's so easy to get comfortable though, isn't
Yeah.
it? With like day jobs and things like that. Like, you don't even stop to consider, do I even like this? You just become quite comfortable, don't you? That's what the position I feel like I'm in at the moment. But when I was a kid though, I was always like, I'm going to be an artist, but I had my head screwed on. Like, even as a 5-year-old, I think I was very literal. And I used to go, yeah, but Ellie, that's not a job. So you're going to do that as like a hobby, maybe a side hustle one day, but you'll have a full-time job alongside. Now, I don't have a full-time job alongside. I have a part-time job, which makes me feel like I've done something right.
Yeah.
But my dream job when I was a little kiddie was to work in Debenhams. I don't know why. It was just like this big magical place. And I was like, if I get a job in Debenhams, I've made it. And now I think that's so funny, because who'd have thought out of them two options, artist or job in Debenhams, the artist would have been the more fucking secure one.
Literally.
Isn't that crazy? But I honestly, I'm very flaky when it comes to jobs as well. Like, I am like a child. Like, I'll wake up and go, I could be an astronaut. Even now, I'm like, what's stopping me? But there was one point in college where I remember I was having a bit of a moment. It was in my first year where I thought, oh my God, I've gone to college to study fine art. Like, I'm officially a twat. I'm going to spend a few years here, and what am I even going to get out of it at the end? And I remember just panicking, and they had like, I don't know what they were at Mid Cheshire. They were, it feels weird saying teaching assistant, because that's a bit weird for a college, isn't it? But they were just sort of not staff. They were
Helpers.
staff. Like these, but they were lovely. I used to call them college mums, because they were, but they were just lovely people. And I remember saying to one, sitting down with one once, going, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know, I'm doing an art course. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And she went, well, what else could you do? And I said, I could be a midwife. She went, why a midwife? And I said, I like the idea of having a job that helps people.
Yeah.
I said, but also I see people coming into the world rather than coming out of it.
Aww.
That was the way I saw it. And she was like, okay. She was like, well, let's go from there. She was like, do you have your science GCSE? I was like, no. Do you want to go back on a science course and get your science GCSE? No. End of that dream. Thank you very much. I used to think a receptionist looked like a really fun job as well, but now that I have a job that's on the phones.
Yeah, you'd hate to be a receptionist though.
Oh, I fucking hate it. I have to do a phone voice and work so that people understand me, basically, because if I talk like this, the way I actually talk. But no, I do put on a phone voice and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It really hurts my throat to do the nice sort of upbeat phone voice.
Yeah.
My dad always says to me, because he can hear it sometimes when he's at home, and he said, you sound like you're going to burst into song at any minute. He said, it sounds like in musical theatre when they're gearing up to a big show tune. He said, that's what you sound like on the phone. But yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and I still don't.
My best friend's got 2 little girls. They say I'm Auntie Jade, even though I'm obviously not their auntie, but it's really cute. But the other day, one of them's like 9, and she asked me, what's your job, like what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm an artist. And she's really into like drawing and stuff, and she was like, oh my god, like that sounds amazing. And she said, do you make a lot of money being an artist? And I said, no. And she went, oh, maybe I could be an artist, but maybe I'll have another job as well. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Keep these kids with the red screws on.
Realistic.
Yeah. No, but in all honesty though, I will say as well, I used to work, best day job I had was in a plant shop. So we started in Runcorn, then we went to Warrington, and I love that job. I just feel like we got the best customers. And I became like a proper crazy plant lady as well, something that I swore I'd never be. But like literally, if I went into the shop in the morning and there was the plant that was looking a bit sad, I was like, oh baby, nursing it back to health. I did become like a proper crazy plant lady. So I do think that if all this got ended tomorrow and I had to get another job, I think I'd do a floristry course.
That'd be
cute.
so
My nan was a
cool.
florist.
Little flower lady.
That'd be really cute. I love that for you.
Well, it's not happening, so
I
don't
love that.
for
No,
me.
I like that better than this.
Oh, right, okay. Off her fuck. Laura's been promoted. She's new co-host.
No, Laura's opening an animal shelter.
Oh, yeah.
She's busy. Otherwise occupied. Oh, that was cute.
I enjoyed that.
I did.
Hello, Ellie here, on my own, because in true really fucking trying style, we forgot to record this bit to our twin end of an episode. But I thought, in keeping with the episode theme, what a brilliant time to shamelessly self-promote. So I just wanted to tell you all about the summer pop-up market that's happening at Hazelhurst Studios on Saturday the 7th of June, 11am till 6pm, and Sunday the 8th of June, 11am till 4pm. And there will be lots of both resident and associate artists from Hazelhurst trading, and that is at 71 High Street in Runcorn, WA7 1AH. It's organised by myself and Sassy Makes, who was our guest on episode 3, and we would love you forever if you came along and paid us a visit, please.
So that's pretty much everything we've got time for today. In the next episode, we'll be talking about our own creative processes. We'll tell you how we take a messy idea and turn it into something real.
We'll be unpacking our working styles, sharing what actually works for us and what absolutely doesn't, and giving you a peek behind the scenes of how we bring our projects to life.
So we'll see you in 2 weeks, but in the meantime, don't forget you can give us a follow on Instagram. You can find us at Really Fucking Trying. There's loads of links in our bio where you can ask us questions, you can apply to be a guest, and there's a Ko-fi link as well where you can buy our merch or leave us a donation.
So we hope you've really enjoyed today's episode, and a big thank you to Laura for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.